6 o'clock.
All right, I just switched.
Is it? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Would you give the invocation?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Join me in prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we come before Thee on this rainy day. We ask for Your guidance and Your peace and Your salvation. Open our minds and our hearts that we work together to common goal for this community and lead us forward through this meeting and throughout the rest of this week and month. In His name we pray, amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Young, you have the floor, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Lynn Youngs. I live at 295 15th Street. I'm also the secretary of the Ivanhoe Civic Club. I've lived here 2 years now, and one thing that I've come to know since I've been here is how many retirees we have who live in this community. And I did a survey of my members of my civic club to see if there would be interest in starting an exercise class. Thank you. Starting an exercise, I didn't think it was on. Starting an exercise class because, as you know, as we get older, staying physically fit, keeping our muscles toned, and being able to keep from falling down when we're walking across the street is important. And I had 20 people in when I passed around a list, 20 people that indicated that they would be interested in participating. So I reached out to a woman who teaches exercise classes in Woodville and asked her if she would be willing to come out here to do it, to make it easier for our local residents to come and participate. And so why I'm here this evening is that I wanted to seek the permission of the council for use of this room on twice a week, Monday or Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're talking about from 10 to 11 in the morning. To have the exercise classes in here. I feel like if it's here, more people will continue to participate instead of having to go into Woodville or someplace else far away. So, yes, I'd like to get your permission to do that.
How would we move on this? Just, we need to put it on the agenda for next go-around to vote on it.
I think that's probably best.
Yeah.
Give us a chance to look at it as well.
So we appreciate your input, and we'll take it and discuss it further and figure out how to move forward.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your consideration.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good evening.
Consent agenda items. Two more? Oh, okay. I didn't see those. Thank you. Mr. Goodman. Hello, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, guests. Want to thank you for everybody's cooperation. We now have concrete under our
Pavilion.
pavilion, and that's one of the things I'd like to discuss. Just very briefly, I'd like to thank Mayor Skip, Randy Frederick, Lloyd Omsberg, Curtis Moncrief for all of their cooperation and assistance in getting the concrete poured. Also, if we call it the pavilion, it has a nice ring to it. And we've already had two people to schedule. One is a sunrise Easter service, and another will be another religious organization wanting to hand out food who had to change dates. But I think that once it's, the word gets around, I really, really think that this will catch on. So once again, I'd like to thank you for everything and your cooperation in this last year, putting this up, and especially our volunteers. And I'd like to especially mention Randy. Randy is just an extremely talented individual, and he's so dedicated and everything, and just wanted to pass that on. And thank you again so very much. Appreciate y'all.
Looks great. Thank you.
It's nice, thanks.
Ms. Warren?
Good evening, council. I'm sorry, I have nothing prepared. And I know that y'all are not able to speak back or to respond once we ask for something. But, and I know, and I'm not being critical at all, I know we all have more on our plates than what we can handle. I understand that our road crew is very, very busy with all of the road work that's going on. But the entrance of Ivanhoe looks like it is neglected and it needs some help. What I am asking of council, because I don't even know if this is allowed because it's city property, but can we get a beautification project going with volunteers, since we have such a vast number of volunteers in Ivanhoe? They're willing, but I will do my darndest to find as many volunteers as I can. I do not have a plan yet. I do not have anything to present to y'all. I just came up with this idea a couple days ago. I know that one of those trees is completely dead. It looks like the drought did get it. I know David Harrington tried to save it. So I'm thinking tree removal, weeding. The monument base itself could use repainting. I'm even thinking perhaps maybe a different color that would not show the algae and the mold and the dirt so bad. I'm thinking remove the weeds and perhaps put in some rock and mulch and some more native to the area plants that would be drought tolerant, because I know we probably don't have the water and all of that up there, and of course mowing. Anyway, I can come up with a better plan. The reason I felt that I needed to come to council today is because I don't even know if that's allowed.
I hear you loud and clear. My wife has bent my ear recently about it.
I might have said something to her about it.
As you know, I'm colorblind and I don't see those things like everybody else does, so they don't jump out at me when I drive by. But we've done things in the past. We used people with community service to
Right.
clean the things out, but they didn't add anything to it.
Right.
I'm completely open to the beautification of the front of the city. We've got the flower beds. We may have to, if we can find volunteers, that would be great, but if we could get a professional to come out here and maintain and take care of it, that might even be better. Because they would have a reason to be there periodically, more so than volunteers.
Perhaps even if we found a landscape company that wanted to work and advertise, that may be an angle.
That's another.
That may be an angle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good stuff. And,
So,
I appreciate you bringing it to the top.
Okay, because I just didn't even know if we were allowed to be on city property and working and
Oh.
y'all's liabilities and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
Okay.
It's your city too.
well, I understand, but we have legalities that we have to cross, we have to cross our Ts and dot our Is. So, anyway, I'm open, you guys discuss it, and whatever we can figure out, I'm a willing victim. Okay,
I've also been asked if we would move the Tahoe up to the parking lot from the front. I haven't had a chance to speak to the chief about that yet, but, we'll, I hear you loud and clear and it will be addressed.
okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate y'all's time.
Looks like I'm gonna be getting my hands dirty. Okay, the minutes of the special council meeting on February 6th, I'd like to have those approved for this evening. The 6th was the day when we met to dispose of of Officer Crossman's truck that got totaled when it ran into the lake. We also agreed to dispose of the Tahoe that's for sale, as well as the Hummer. And we talked about, began to think about how we were going to replace Officer Crossman's vehicle. So that's what those minutes were.
I make a motion, we accept those minutes from February 6th.
Second?
I'll second.
What were those minutes, Mayor?
Am I getting them?
On the 6th?
Am I in the wrong
Yes,
category
sir.
here?
That's when we authorized the mayor's signature on Resilient Committee Program, GLO,
That's correct.
on the 6th.
I started looking at the dates as I was talking, and I realized that I was off. That's for me to sign the contract to be able to sign the contract for the grant administrator and the engineering company to begin the Resilient Community Grant work, which has been done. So I need a motion we have a motion to pass that, but it was the wrong one for the wrong reason.
Motion stands.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. So the 15th was the one where we did all that stuff that I just talked about with regard to the vehicles.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. The 26th, that was the one where we came and we went over all the numbers of our budget and the options that were available to us with regard to replacing Crossman's vehicle. We've never had a fleet to manage before. We do have a fleet now. So the considerations were we could have bought a used vehicle that would have taken, and we'd have been in the same boat that we're in now. All of our vehicles would wear out at the same time, and we'd be in worse shape than we are right now. We did a lot of research and determined that the best avenue was to lease a new vehicle. We leased a brand-new 2024 Chevy Z71 that will now be outfitted. It's a 4-year lease. The vehicle was $52,000. We have no payments for a year. We have 4 payments of $15,100. At the end of the 4th payment, we pay $1 and we own the vehicle. At the price that we bought the vehicle, we get into it with ready equity. I checked with Texas Municipal League and was told that there was no law against a municipality leasing or financing a vehicle. The challenge was finding a financial institution that would be willing to finance a vehicle, knowing that the funds must be allotted to that line item every year to make that particular payment. This is not something new. The county commissioners have been doing it for years and years, our sheriff's department, Polk County. So we elected to move forward, and we've leased this new vehicle. As part of, we now are in a position to begin to manage our fleet, which is something that we've never had to do before. And Ms. Williams, in the course of the conversation, said at the end of the 3rd year, since we could get a new vehicle and not have to make a payment for a year, we could actually, at the 3rd year, move forward with the lease of a second vehicle and begin to rotate vehicles in with staggering what's the word I'm looking for? Not expirations. Staggering terms and staggering depreciations, staggering age, and we'd be able to better manage the fleet for the city moving forward. As we bring in a vehicle, one of the vehicles in the police department would then be able to be rotated into the road crew, and at that point, either the road crew could use it or replace the one that they've had, and we could dispose of the one that they had been using. So it's a plan that we do now have for for fleet management, and it's a very good one. So that's what the council meeting on the 26th was about. I need a motion.
Make a motion that we accept the.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Right along with that, Mill Creek and Sir Henry are in the process of being rebuilt. The section of road at the north end of Lake Tristan, there's a dog leg that goes around the marsh. IPOA has granted us the easement to go across 2 lots and part of the north end of Lake Tristan. There was a cost. It was to get the meets and bounds. The survey cost was $7,700. I took the money from our current bond balance of $78,000 and made that payment. Let me see here. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We had an audit by the Texas DPS department, CJIS. It's the Criminal Justice Information Services. It's part of the FBI modernization system that's dictated by the federal government that requires our police department to have their data segregated and secure from anything else. That includes the CoLogic or the CapSync that they use within their vehicles. We're in pretty good shape. We knew that we were going to fail the audit going into it. We were told in advance. But the auditor was very pleased overall. We just have a few things we've got to make adjustment to, and I think that if you want to make more mention of it, Chief, you can. Galahad Loop, the work there has been complete. It may not look like it, but it's the sections of Galahad Loop that were to be done have been done, and they're complete. Mill Creek is well underway. Signed the contract for the $1.9 million grant that's for Lakewood. The support work has begun. That's the engineering and the documents that we'll need to be able to turn in and collect our money as we go. 22nd Street is well underway as well, and it's almost complete. It's either complete or near done. That's it. So, Chief Drum, a police report, please.
All right. Good evening, council. For the month of February, we had 63 calls for service. We did 43 traffic stops. We issued 18 citations and 25 warnings. We did 2 accident reports, 2 arrests, and we've had 10 code enforcement actions, and I'll talk about code enforcement here in a minute. First off, I want to thank the council for all the hard work on reviewing all the data and then approving for the purchase of the vehicle, moving us into a better realm, preparing for that. The status of the truck that was totaled out, it's been decommissioned. It should be picked up by Copart either today or tomorrow. And then we'll be, all the new equipment's coming in, and we'll be ready to outfit the new truck starting next week. Let's see here. Payment, we've received the payments from TML. The only payments we have to receive is the reimbursement for decommissioning the vehicle, as well as the reimbursement for upfitting the new vehicle. We have the Tahoe up front. It closes out this Friday on the sealed bids. And then the mayor, myself, and Haley will get together. We'll review the bids to see if we met our reserve in the highest bid. And then we'll be doing the Humvee after that. Just needed to get some clarification on some of the paperwork because there's not an actual title to it because it was actually passed down to us. And because it was formerly military property, there's no actual title for it. But it does have a registration, and that's what I just need to get clarification on. Let's see here. Officer Baker went through the code enforcement class back in September, and he's actually going to the code enforcement 2 class this summer, which will actually be taking, has the option of taking the test after that as well. We did check with TDLR. He is not required to actually take a code enforcement test because he's a commissioned peace officer, but he can still do the enforcement actions as a code enforcement. And so he's been through the training for it. So we're moving forward on trying to take care of some of these properties that are actually causing us a nuisance out here.
So there's one thing that I'd like to mention is that we have a signed agreement, memorandum of agreement with Southwest Water Corporation now. That's been the holdup on being able to move forward with some of the septic system violations. So we know we have 2 of them that have been on hold for a while. They've been given their final notice several months ago, and then the contract issue came up. We've got that resolved, but we're starting the clock over. I've
Right.
talked with Baker. We're starting the clock over again on the people that have got that issue, and we'll be giving them a reasonable amount of time to at least show intent to make the necessary improvements
Correct.
before we shut the water off. But we have that capability now. We do have some teeth in that particular part of our code enforcement.
Right.
The
Any
last thing
questions?
is I'd like you to talk about the annual activity numbers. You
The-
kind of overlooked that.
The annual activity, so far for the first quarter, we've had 180 calls for service. We've conducted 203 traffic stops. Citations, we've written 99, and then warnings, we've done 134. So our warning numbers are actually a little bit higher than little over 50% of every traffic stop that we do. So that way it doesn't come around that we're actually out there just writing everybody tickets for it. We do give a large sum of warnings with that as well.
Very good.
Any questions for me? All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Mr. Marshall is under the weather this evening. It was questionable whether he would be able to be here this evening or not. I will say, I don't have much to say about the streets for his report. What? Oh. I forget. I need to follow the script, like Joe Biden. Okay, for the month of February, traffic citation revenue generated was $3,005. The city's portion of that was $1,706. For the year, the collection has been $16,757, and the city's portion of that's $9,721. And again, it's from the good work of our police department, and we appreciate them. Now then, to the streets. Thank you. I was talking with David Marshall, and the dollars that we allocated for materials is not going down like we thought it would go down. As we're putting in these new roads, we're using less raw material on the roads. We have fewer roads that we have to do that type of maintenance on. So that's a good thing. And as the number of roads get paved, that's going to make it easier for the road crew to respond quicker to the calls, and we're almost down to just maintaining them rather than having to rebuild them. For the dam report, Will, I'll hand that over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Right now, we're waiting on TWE to get back with the ground truthing report for the Charmaine Dam. I've been calling them every week. I've talked to them already this week twice. So once we get that report on, then that reporting, we can move forward with the dams. Right now, we're holding status quo, keeping Charmaine at its level. It's at a good level right now. There's less pressure on the dam. And then, once we get that report, we can move forward. The rest of the dams are in satisfactory condition. So that's about all it is for the dams right now.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Ms. Williams?
Planning and Zoning Committee has submitted a new ordinance to be able to do. We've had a couple of people, when they submit their first drawings, they're gonna build this house, and then they come back in and they wanna put in the septic, except the septic doesn't fit or it doesn't shape around. So the new ordinance is addressing this by asking that they go ahead and put all of the things that they're going to be changing on the lot or the property to be able to try to at least not make somebody tear up a $10,000 concrete pad that they just laid down. Reading from it, it is 152.111, permit required. Permits are required for all new constructions and additions within the city, included but not limiting to new roof replacement, including and not limiting to such items as exterior renovations, concrete slab installation, new roof, or roof replacement. In order to request a construction permit, dimension drawings of the proposed site plan that includes all utilities and the location of existing or planned septic system components, as well as proof that the septic system meets TECQ requirements. This is required to confirm that there are no conflicts within the intended construction outlined in the permit. Part B, permit applications are available at City Hall. Applications will only be approved after the city secretary or code enforcement official evaluates and approves the submitted site plan for compliance with current city codes. Permit fees will include city building inspection fees for 2 on-site inspections during the construction and the final inspection to issue a certificate of occupancy. Failure to acquire the required construction permits prior to the start of construction will result in a penalty not to exceed $2,000. See 10.99 penalty.
Thank you, ma'am. I think that's the one that I saw that I kicked back
Well,
the other day. All we were trying to accomplish was to tie the septic system permitting to the building permit. People would come in and buy a building permit, do their building, and then come back as an afterthought to have their septic system installed. The two were not tied together at all. All we were trying to do is to have the TCEQ designated representative go out with the plans, design the septic system that the lot would support, and determine the maximum square footage house that could be supported by the septic system that could fit on that particular piece of dirt. It was really a simple change that we were looking for.
it does do that in the way that septic systems aren't really simple. If you get an aerobic system, you have to plan the aerobic system almost at the same time that you're planning the house or building or whatever construction you're putting on there, because you can't have it between the road, or it's like 10 feet from the fence line.
I understand.
And to the
I understand.
house.
There's a lot of
So
legalities.
as you say, is there anything specific like you would like me to have them reevaluate as I take it back to P and Z?
I'm still mulling it over. I'll get to you. I'll get back to you. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gregory.
I was actually unable to attend the TCAD meeting. However, I did request the minutes of the meeting, and it really seems like a slow day at the office. So long story short, there's nothing really to report at this time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Consider for discussion the action of additional monies for Camelot Park. We discussed this once before, and we all agreed to add an additional $5,000 to the purchase price. Mr. McWhirter brought up that it would be better to extend a $10,000 to them. It's really not much money to use on a park, but the disruption to the park is great. So at this point, I'm asking for an additional $5,000 to be used in the acquisition of the sliver of dirt that's gonna chew up their parking area, and allow them the ability to go in and clear out the rest of the park and make it nice for the people on the northwest side of town.
I think the idea is a pavilion, possibly, some improvements to the dock, if there's any dock, but definitely clearing, some kind of picnic tables, other things in the park to make that a really fully functioning park, right there in the entrance to Camelot. So,
Are we looking at the 5,000 number or the 10,000?
The 10,000.
10,000.
We've already approved the 5, I'm asking for 5
The
more,
extra 5, okay.
I'll make the motion, we approve the extra 5
for a total of 10.
for a total of 10 for that park, yes.
Do I have a
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Very good, thank you. So now we're on to for consider discussion, the action to adopt the resolution regarding the civil rights policies for the 2023 GLO Community Development Block Grant, the mitigation method of distribution of the CDBG MIT-MOD program, contract 24-065-027-E482. This has to be done annually. So I'm asking for a motion that we adopt the resolution.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Motion carries. Consider for discussion the action to approve the resolution designating the authorized signatories for contractual and financial documents pertaining to the 2023 GLO Community Development Block Grant mitigation method of distribution. It's the CDBG MIT-MOD program, contract 24065-027-E482. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second,
I'll second that, Mayor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Proclamation declaring April as the City of Ivanhoe's Fair Housing Month. I'll need to sign the proclamation. Do I need to get a motion for that? Have a motion for the proclamation for me to sign it?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Can we have a discussion? I'm curious.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, what's, what is that, around, are we doing anything as a part of that, or is it something that?
No, sir, it's the proclamation that's required for some of the grants. We have to do it annually to show that we're fair and fair-minded in our decision-making processes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good, everybody vote.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Consider for discussion the action to approve the amendment number 2 for the Grant Administration Services contract for the Community Development Block Grant. Contract 24065-027-E482. Haley, I'm not exactly sure which one this is.
That one, what number, 10?
Yeah, amendment,
Amendment 12, number 12.
Looking at the number 12, but I said 10.
Number 12, Amendment 2.
The grant administration.
It's right there.
amendment number, okay, resolution signatories, policy.
Amendment number 2, City of Ivanhoe Grant Administration and Environmental Services Contract.
Civil rights. Fair housing.
Is there a written amendment? Is it a written amendment, Mayor?
It's on the,
No, I don't see it.
That's what I was looking for.
That's 7 pages. in.
Amendment 2? Yes.
7.
Okay. As pre-procurement required the city of Ivanhoe to contractually enter into an agreement prior to the establishment of the project, the contract agreement was based on a percentage figure. Federal regulations require that with funding, the grant administration and environmental services contract must be amended to include a dollar figure. The contract amount as shown is $154,640. The grant administration services are $139,640. Environmental services are $15,000. So I need to be able to, I need a motion to,
And is this money we spent already, Mayor, or is it money that we are spending? We're about to spend, right? Okay. So it's breaking it down from a generic term to the actual dollar amounts that are
we
going out
used,
to the
it was,
expenditure.
this says it was a percentage figure and now that we have the dollar, so it's just a formality.
Understood.
I so move we accept amendment number 2 for the grant administration services contract for community development block grant.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Consider for discussion, action to approve amendment number 2 for the engineering services contract, which is,
So this is the MIT mod.
yeah,
Is it the same, is that a duplicate?
Is it actually meant to be amendment number 1?
Oh.
City of Ivanhoe Grant Engineering Services Contract.
yeah, okay.
That's what I was looking for, the
It's a few
contract
pages
number.
later.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
It's amendment 1 instead of 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Contract amount.
I just saw it. There it is. As pre-procurement required the city to contractually enter into an agreement prior to the establishment of the project, the contract agreement was based on a per consumption. The computer, I'm asking to move $10,000 into the computer fund, budget line, $10,000 into the attorney budget line, and $1,000 into the water budget line. We've got $32,000 that we put in the TML insurance line, and we used ARPA funds for that this year, so that money's just sitting there, not being used. That'll pull $21,000 from that, and we'll leave $11,000 in that particular line item. We've reduced the mileage that's being paid. The city secretary's line item is under budget. We're really in good shape with our budget so far through 5 months of the year. So I need a motion for each line item or for all three?
You can do it.
So I need a motion to move $10,000 to line 6060.01, the computer. Mr. IT, I need $10,000 to move from the insurance line to 6046.30, the attorney. And I need to move $1,000 from the TML insurance line to 6076-03, our water. We had a $900 bill from a water leak that we didn't know we had outside. And then Southwest Water Corporation has a tendency to go several months with billing you for the base amount, and then they'll catch up. And they did that, and we ended up with a $600 water bill on top of the $900 repair. Hopefully, this will carry us, and things will normalize from here.
I make a motion, we balance this budget, so you discuss, Mayor.
Second,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, well,
This is for discussion from council. We met with the grant writers for the comprehensive plan, and we came in, sat down one afternoon, and we're talking, and they asked us about commercial property and economic development for the city. And we said, you know, we don't have much property for us, commercial property, but we do have a lot of Airbnbs in this, that have developed in this area. And they said, well, there's a short-term rental agreement from Austin where anything under 30 days, they have required them to have a permit for these short-term rentals. So I went out and I looked, I thought, looked at it, and there are probably roughly 11 to 20 Airbnbs on this lake. And they range from $90 a night to $450 per night.
And this is specifically on the Airbnb platform?
And Verbo. And some of them have 8 guests, 10 guests, anywhere from 3 to 10 guests per unit. So with that, we could do a short-term rental. And with that short-term rental, anybody that rents property under 30 days, we could have them have a yearly permit. And we could come in with, there's their license and application. We could develop how we want this to fit our needs to bring in more income for the city. And I propose that we talk about this a little bit, get your feedback, and then if we so think we want to go this route, then we could take it to the P&Z and let them look at it, look at license applications. I mean, they come in here, we don't know where these people are coming from. They come in here, they're up at 1 o'clock in the morning having a big party, there's a sound ordinance on it. They call it the police department. We're using our facilities, our resources.
and additionally, for security, the police need to know where these rentals are.
Yeah, and then on our roads. So we could do a hotel tax, but if you do a hotel tax, then that has to go to tourism, specifically. You know, a tourist information center, anything like that. But this is a way around that because we don't get sales tax out of this, and we could also generate some income. I'd say anywhere from maybe $7,000 to $10,000 a year, depending on how we set the permit. There's also occupancy certification that we can put with this, that we could look at. So brought it up, kick it around, but see what council feels about this.
So, we're open for discussion?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's all we're
yes.
doing, is
Yeah,
we're just talking about it and thinking of
Yeah, I
starting
mean,
the thought process.
This is my concern. I think it's a property rights issue for people that, and it really is going to focus on people that are part-time, weekenders that own homes here, that aren't living here full-time, or primarily the people that are renting these property. Those people pay the same property taxes that we do today as full-time homeowners. So they are paying property taxes, they're paying electric bills, they're paying school taxes today, just like we are, but only as a second income. So they are supporting the community. I think this is an additional tax on a property that is, already paying taxes. Do I think there are some ordinances that need to be put in place that we make sure that we're not interrupting someone that's living next door to them with someone that doesn't live in the community? I think so, but for me, putting an additional tax on a piece of property for a person that's paying property taxes and so forth in the community is not something I probably would want to do from a community standpoint.
I'm in agreement. I think that it's all a matter of degree. How much do we dig into the people? It's from a security standpoint. We need to know where these places are. A nominal permit fee, $100, something like that. We're not going to get this resolved today.
No.
But I hear you loud and clear, and I'm like minded in most regard. And
I agree with what you're saying, but on the other side of the coin, they are making money off of this property. They are running it as a business.
That's correct. I mean,
So
we
there's-
have rental properties in town too, and we don't tax rental properties as a thing. So I mean, we have people that own homes that do full-time rentals, and we don't tax rental companies or have permits for people that do full-time rentals. So we're kind of isolating, and I know why these ordinances have come in place. I mean, they have party houses in Houston and Dallas and Austin where they're full-time people and they're running parties, party houses in local communities, and it's a major issue. I haven't seen that here. Could it happen? Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think we've seen it yet, but it could. Is it going to come to Woodville? I don't know. But
I know. I have received, it's been only one call that there was a house that was sold that was going to be used as an Airbnb, and the owner that called me kind of baited me a little bit. Is that going to be, what's the position on Airbnbs? I said, well, the city has no policy per se. And he said, I thought so. He said, I am not crazy about having a bunch of strangers coming in and out next door to me with, bachelor parties, family reunions and that sort of thing. Then I talked to the fellow on the other side. He says, I don't really care. So it's one extreme or the other. I do think that it warrants more thought and more discussion. I'm not one to want. I want to stay out of people's lives.
I think our responsibility is to police. I mean, to police and to provide a safe environment for the people. So I mean, I definitely believe we need to make sure that our laws and our regulations that we have allow us to police when we need to police people that are here. So I mean, I absolutely think we need to look at it and make sure either our existing regulations do that, or that we adopt some that give our police force the ability to regulate and to go up to someone that's in one of those facilities and be able to make them comply. So I mean, I absolutely am in support of that. But as far as going to the point where we're permitting and trying to put a bureaucracy in place that manages someone's property, then I start getting a little iffy and not probably as much as supportive. So somewhere in between there is a line that I think we have to discuss. I read the Austin one. I mean, it's a lot of bureaucracy.
It's a lot of bureaucracy.
I haven't even looked at it. I refuse
There's
to
a
read
lot.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's way too much bureaucracy. Is there a point in here that I think we need to do something? Yes, but I don't think I'd go anywhere close to what the Austin.
No,
Austin
I
plan
wouldn't
was.
either. But some kind of common ground in here that maybe generates a few revenue dollars for the city that we know where they are and what's going on.
So
We're limited on funds here. I mean, but it might be a balance. It's got to be a balance, and I don't want to overreach, in government,
Yeah.
in the bureaucracy part of it. But I think part of it is that, we go to Dollar General, we pay a sales tax. They're running a business here, and then we don't get any revenue.
I think everybody that comes here spends money at Dollar General. They spend money at the liquor store. They spend money at the Vinnie's.
Vinnie's, yeah.
Vinnie's. So if there are more people in houses on more weekends, more people are going to be buying liquor, and more people are going to be spending money at Vinnie's, and more people are going to be buying stuff at Dollar General. So we're going to get you more tax dollars from that.
Yeah,
But,
so-
but again,
so-
there is something we need to do. Where is that line?
Where's that line?
We have a house in the Meadows Place in Southwest Houston, and it's the deed restrictions are enforced by the police department. They have simple one-page forms, short-term rental license application, $100 a year. That just gives us an idea where they're located for security purposes.
See, that's much different than what I read in the Austin.
And I put this out there so maybe we can send it to P&Z and let them draft something that's fair and reasonable. Because they're the gurus on this.
Yep.
And then come back and say, hey, and then we can kind of take it from there. I just want to get,
No, I think it's a good discussion. That's why, I think the discussion is the most important thing, so.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not here to make a decision. We're
No.
here to just start the conversation and the thought process.
and maybe send it to P&Z, let them see what they can come up with, and then carry this dialogue down the road. If that's agreeable to everyone, council.
A lot of the things in that 14-page document, we already have as city ordinances, basically, so we could cut out a large part of that.
And just come up with something reasonable that
The one-page, easy, yes.
one page.
Easy peasy stuff.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So would you come back next,
Yes, sir.
is that agreeable?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm agreeable to look at anything, yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we can talk.
We can, it's
We can
it's the
think.
beginning of a discussion, right?
Yes, sir, that's what this is.
That's all this is.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your input.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman Williams.
Thanks, Will, for bringing it to the table.
Yes,
Thank you.
Ms. Williams, you're up.
Okay. The financial documents, including the, CSB and text class statements were sent to council on March 4th. The account and financial reports and reconciliation details for each account were emailed to council as soon as they arrived. Other items to report for the month are the state comptroller direct deposited $6,188 on March 8th for sales and use taxes that were collected in January and reported to the comptroller in February. Last year, the same month was $6,521. Last month, the sales tax deposit was $9,357. February ad valorem taxes were received March 6th, totaling $85,725, with $70,752 going to maintenance and operations, $14,974 for the interest and sinking fund. The calculated balance of delinquent taxes stands at $293,393 as of February 29th, which is the aggregate amount from 2010 to present. The calculated balance of unpaid taxes, penalties, and interest for Ivanhoe North has remained at $5,301. Has not moved, like, ever. Pledged securities at Citizens State Bank total $124,354 above the $250,000 FDIC insurance, giving the city a cushion of $303,269 above our deposits. Our text class interest rate has remained steady at around 5.2% through this month. It has been for about 3 or 4 months now. The accountant monthly report for February arrived on the March 14th and was sent out just the same day. After a few adjustments, the totals for the various department budgets are correct. The bank statements have been reconciled, and I do believe that February financials can be approved.
So can you talk a little bit about that monies that was moved to 4000?
The TML money. So we did have, and it's gonna be a new line item on next month. It was created today, that's why it's not on the report. We have an insurance proceeds line item that we had to create because we were getting insurance payments from Bob's truck. And the accountant couldn't put it anywhere. They're gonna
But
be.
income.
But it's not income, it's reimbursements. They're kind of played like the grant money that we get. We're getting the money, but it's not our money. It's already designated to go somewhere, it's not revenue. So I had to create a new line item with the accountant, and that's where that $4,800 on the miscellaneous is going. We're taking that, and then there's gonna also be, $23,000 put into it next month as well, but, so we had to do that, because there has not been, at any point in time up to this time, a line item created for the insurance reimbursements. They've all just been going in a general funds. I believe office receipts was what they have been getting put into. So this way, it does not create the illusion that that is a payment and revenue for the city.
Because it's gonna come and go.
Right. It's already spoken for, it's a reimbursement, so it's gone already.
So has everybody had a chance to review the financials?
Yeah, I mean, I have one question.
Okay.
When we see money, when we have an expense comes for our contractors on one of our grant things, can you explain the process that we go through for moving the money to pay for a contractor or to Langford or for any of those points where we have something that's grant-based, that funds come and go, because they get moved, right?
Yes, so typically, if it's not a local match, which comes straight out of our money, we will have, most of the grants, grant administrators will submit to Texas Comptroller for a reimbursement of funds. They will, and then they'll go through and they'll do all the forms for it, and we have to wait until Texas Comptroller deposits into our bank account. Once it gets in there, it will either get wired.
1 second, what bank account does that go into when they
It
deposit?
depends on what, grant it is. There
So
are
it will
different-
go into a grant fund?
Yes, it depends on what grant it is, because they all have specific accounts. We've got the Mint-Mod, we've got
There are different
ARPA.
accounts for each grant.
So, we could get in, yeah, so it'll get deposited into the specified grant bank account for that grant, and then it will either get wired out from there, or it'll get transferred to CSB, Citizens, and then we'll write a check for it.
So it could go to another account for you to be able to write a check?
It could, but I'm trying to kind of cut that step out because it's not necessary.
Because I saw that once this year, I think this
Yes,
month.
yes.
I saw that where it transferred in, then moved to another account before
Yes.
it went out.
Yes, and I'm trying to get out of doing it because, like I said, it's an unnecessary step when we can wire straight from our text class account. All of our administrators, our contractors, our engineers, they all have wiring information that we can use. So there's not
That's what we
really.
use with Texas class.
Yeah, I just
Yes.
was seeing that and I was trying to understand it. I was
Yes.
seeing when that
The
money was coming
process.
and going. I thought it was good to get everybody understanding that process
Right.
for where the money came. and
Absolutely,
what- 'cause it's
yes.
big-
Well, thank you
There's-
for
Big
that.
chunks
Yes.
of money.
It is. You have to be very careful with that stuff too. So, but I have no issues explaining. But
And you
yeah,
said you,
And it was an emotional meeting, and I thanked him profusely for his knowledge, his concerns, his efforts, and made sure that we can contact him at any time and pick his brain as needed. And he's willing to do that. But so now we begin the process of looking for someone that we can bring in to fill that particular position. And we've started the thought process, and we'll narrow it down as time goes by. I've spoken to one person. I've asked the councilman to suitable person.
Just a side thought, Mayor, is there any legality that says we need to fill that seat?
No, but I would like to have it filled.
The lawyer said yes.
What does the attorney say?
Yeah, it's gonna need to get filled.
Okay.
There should be a statement somewhere that says how many people are gonna be on y'all's council.
Right.
That's,
And
it's set by state law.
Yeah.
The type of government we have, the number of councilmen required in the form of government that we had is set. So I don't know how much time we have to fill it, but there is a set number.
we're not shut down. It's not a panic. We're gonna look and find somebody to bring in here that we can all agree to. And I believe I could make the appointment if I wanted, couldn't I? Or does council still have to vote on it?
so council would definitely have to vote on it.
Yeah.
We have to look at the timeline and things like that.
For the amount of time it takes to, we have a finite amount of time to fill it.
Well, we're gonna have to look.
So is there a particular process that we must follow?
That's something we can talk about
In executive session.
outside of the meeting.
Okay. Does it have to be an executive session or?
No, I mean, we get on the phone.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you, sir. So that concludes, oh, well, one last thing. These are the documents for the purchase of the 10 parcels from IPOA. All of the approvals have been done. All the documents are prepared. We're going to the signing Monday. I'll be meeting Brian Morvant and Mr. Goodman to sign all of these documents. The holdup was getting the approval for the additional $5,000 for Camelot Park. I have all of the meets and bounds for the road easement on Sir Henry. I'm just waiting for the cover letter to be able to sit down and sign those documents with IPOA, and then we'll take them to the courthouse, and then we're done, we're ready.
Is that a paved road on the back?
What's that?
Fully paved on the back?
Mill Creek?
Yeah. Oh, no, St. Sir Henry, is that in the back road? Yeah.
I talked to David and I had David Marshall and I had a conversation about that. He thought it was just going to be gravel. I kind of thought it wasn't. I thought it was going to be asphalt. I talked to the project engineer, Miss Dye, and, with LJA, and she said, no, it's gonna be paved just like Camelot.
I think it's a great thing. I mean, that's a great way to get in and out with a lot of big equipment. I think that's gonna be a great road. For our community, I think that's gonna be a really great.
So with that, there's a culvert right there that's it's gonna be off-center from it to 20 feet. I spoke with the head engineer of the four county area with TxDOT, and, he said we can do whatever. Initially, he had told Ms. Dye, we only have one road in, and when we start working on Ivanhoe Drive, we'll have to use a private driveway to get out through Toller Road. And he said, no, you can do whatever you want. You can pull that up. All I ask is that you have those safety pieces at the end of the culvert, the angled pieces, so that if someone runs off the road, they don't hit a flat object. They hit a ramp up and they'll go over it. So we're gonna put in a 20-foot culvert there. That's gonna cost extra. We'll have to pay for that out of our pocket. But, we've got the money to do it. And we need to do it right.
That's great.
So we'll have Mill Creek from Highway 69. So with that, motion to adjourn,
Make a motion to adjourn.
second, all in favor?
All right.
All right, go on.
Motion carries, we are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you,